In a remote corner of the Philippines, on an island wrapped in ancient jungle and steeped in folklore, there's a story. It's a story whispered by generations of locals about a place hidden from the eyes of the world, a place that holds a secret. This isn't a story about just any cave. It's a legend of a cavern that defies explanation, a natural cathedral that, as dusk settles, begins to emit a soft, ethereal, and mysterious blue light. For centuries, this was a local marvel, known only to those who lived in its shadow. But the story gets even better when modern science supposedly enters the picture. The legend goes that in the early 2000s, a team of international researchers, armed with the latest scientific gear, finally found their way to this enigmatic place. They came to solve the mystery and give it a neat scientific label. They descended into the darkness, confident they'd return with answers. Instead, they left with only more questions. What they supposedly found was a light that shouldn't exist, a glow that broke the known rules of biology and geology. This is the story of the Lungga sa Asulan Kahayag, the cave of the blue light. Why does this cave glow? And what did those scientists allegedly find that left them so baffled? Today, we're journeying into the heart of a modern myth, one that blurs the line between scientific inquiry and supernatural folklore. The tale begins on Samar, the third largest island in the Philippines. It's a land of rugged beauty, a sprawling canvas of dense rainforests, roaring waterfalls, and one of the most dramatic karst landscapes on Earth. Karst topography is what you get when water dissolves rock like limestone, creating a subterranean wonderland of sinkholes, underground rivers, and, most importantly, caves. Samar is the caving capital of the Philippines for a reason. It's home to the Lungga cave system, the largest in the country, a labyrinth of 12 interconnected caves with chambers so vast they've been nicknamed football fields. It's in this world of stone and shadow that our story is set. For generations, local people have spoken of a specific cave far from the well-trodden paths. In their Waray language, they called it Lungga sa Asulan Kahayag, a simple name that means the cave of the blue light. According to oral tradition, the phenomenon is as predictable as it is strange. As the sun sets, a faint blue luminescence begins to pour from the cave. It's not a piercing light, but a soft, uniform glow that seems to come from the very rock itself. It doesn't flicker like a flame or pulse like a living thing. It's just constant, serene, and deeply mysterious. For the local communities, this wasn't a scientific puzzle. It was a place of reverence. In Filipino culture, natural wonders are often seen as the domain of powerful spirits. Caves, in particular, are sacred spaces, sometimes believed to be portals to other dimensions, or homes to ancestral spirits called anitos, or nature spirits called engkanto. The blue light was a sign that the place was alive with an energy beyond human understanding. It was a place to be respected and, maybe, a place to be feared. For years, the stories were enough to keep most people away, preserving the cave and its secret. That is until the whispers of a perpetually glowing cave finally reached the outside world. So let's be clear. The story of the cave of the blue light is a fascinating modern myth. While it's set on the very real island of Samar, known for its incredible cave systems, the glowing cave itself, the Lungga sa Asulan Kahayag, doesn't appear in any official geological surveys or verified expedition logs. Its existence is rooted entirely in a compelling narrative. What we're exploring here isn't a documented location, but the anatomy of a legend that feels so real it should be. Here's how the story usually goes. Sometime in the late 90s or early 2000s, a foreign tourist or geologist is exploring the dense interior of Samar. Their local guide, after some convincing, agrees to show them a special place his elders spoke of. As twilight descends, they arrive at a seemingly ordinary cave, But as they wait, the magic happens. A soft blue radiance builds within the cavern, bathing the entrance in an otherworldly glow. The visitor, stunned, captures what evidence they can, a blurry photo, a shaky video, and the story starts to spread through online forums of explorers and paranormal investigators. It's a tantalizing tale, a self-sustaining light, a natural phenomenon with no obvious cause, hidden on an island already famous for its underground marvels. The account is just plausible enough to be intoxicating. It doesn't describe flashing UFO lights or spectral figures, but a quiet, constant, natural-seeming glow. That subtlety is what gives the legend its power. The setting is crucial to the story's believability. The island's Lungga system is a real-world labyrinth discovered by Italian speleologists in 1987. Its chambers are enormous, and it's home to unique species like blind cavefish. The fact that much of this massive system remains unexplored lends credibility to the idea that a cave like this could theoretically remain hidden. The storytellers expertly weave the fictional glowing cave into the known geography of the island, creating a tapestry of fact and fiction that's hard to unravel. Even the name Lungga sa Asulan Kahayag is a clever touch. It uses the local Waray language, which lends it an air of authenticity. It's simple and descriptive, exactly what you'd expect locals to call such a place. The power of the legend is in these details. It doesn't present itself as a ghost story, but as an undiscovered natural wonder. And according to the story, it wouldn't have to wait long for science to come knocking. The blurry photos had done their job. A team of experts was on its way. The second act of this myth is where it becomes truly compelling. The story goes that a multidisciplinary team of scientists, funded by a European university or research foundation, mounted a full-fledged expedition to Samar. The team, as the legend describes it, was made up of geologists, biologists, and chemists, and they brought a formidable array of equipment. They reportedly carried high-sensitivity spectrometers to analyze the light's composition, UV lamps to test for fluorescence, and Geiger counters to rule out radiation. They had sterile kits to collect water, rock, and air samples, hoping to find the culprit, maybe a new type of bioluminescent bacteria or fungus. Their mission was clear: identify the light source, categorize it, and publish their groundbreaking findings. According to the tale, after days of hacking through dense jungle, they finally arrived. During the day, the cave was nothing special. They set up their equipment, took baseline readings, and waited. As the sun went down, the show started, just as the stories had described. A soft, impossible blue light began to emanate from deep inside, growing steadily until the entire cavern was filled with a uniform ambient glow. The narrative emphasizes the scientists' initial reaction, a moment of silent awe, quickly replaced by professional excitement. This was it. The phenomenon was real. The team immediately got to work. Their first and most obvious hypothesis was bioluminescence. The world has glowing caves, like the famous Waitomo caves in New Zealand, lit by the larvae of a fungus gnat. Other caves and forests glow due to bioluminescent fungi known as foxfire. The scientists in our story would have known all this. Their plan was to find the organism responsible. They scoured the walls, the ceiling, the floor. They took scrapings and swabs, but according to the legend, they found nothing. No glowworms, no fungal mats, no glowing moss. Under the microscope, they found typical cave microbes, but none that were producing light. The glow, it seemed, wasn't coming from something on the rock. The story insists the light was coming from the rock itself. This was the first major problem. If it wasn't a living thing, it had to be geological. So the team turned from biology to chemistry and physics, sure that a rational explanation was at hand. They were about to be disappointed. The scientific team in our story now faced a deeper puzzle. The most common reason rocks glow is fluorescence or phosphorescence, where a material absorbs energy from a light source and then re-emits it. Many cave minerals like calcite are known to be fluorescent and can glow in spectacular colors under a UV blacklight. So, the expedition in the story supposedly deployed their UV lamps. They shone them on the walls, expecting the blue glow to intensify, but according to the legend, nothing happened. The rock was not fluorescent. Besides, the central problem was the lack of an energy source. The glow was self-sustaining, appearing every night without being charged by sunlight. The inner chambers were in perpetual darkness, which ruled out both fluorescence and conventional phosphorescence. What about radioactivity? Could a rare radioactive mineral be exciting the surrounding crystals, causing them to luminesce? This phenomenon, called radioluminescence, is real but incredibly rare on this scale. The team used their Geiger counters, sweeping them over the glowing walls. The result, the story says, was nothing. Radiation levels were perfectly normal. This is the central twist in the narrative. The team had systematically tested and debunked every major scientific explanation for a glowing cave. According to the legend, the scientists were stumped. They took extensive samples of the rock, water, and air. They documented the light with their spectrometers, confirming it was a pure, narrow-band blue. They packed up their gear, a mixture of frustration and wonder on their faces. The story concludes this chapter with the team leaving Samar, promising to publish their findings once they had an explanation. But the legend adds a final, tantalizing detail. Those findings were never published. The scientific world remains silent, and the cave in the telling keeps its secret. We are deep in the heart of a mystery that science, according to this legend, couldn't solve. Next, we're going to explore the other side of this story, the world of folklore, where an explanation for this blue light has existed for centuries. If you're enjoying this journey, take a moment to subscribe. It helps us continue to investigate these incredible mysteries. The supposed failure of the scientific expedition is the linchpin of the whole legend. It transforms the story from a natural curiosity into a profound mystery. The narrative suggests that the rock samples were analyzed for months, but no unique element could be found. The story of the Lungga sa Asulan Kahayag became a modern folktale where the rational world of labs collides with something inexplicable. But where science allegedly drew a blank, Filipino folklore offers a rich tapestry of possibilities. The absence of a scientific answer creates a vacuum, one that's readily filled by centuries of belief. The island of Samar isn't just a geological hotspot, it's a cultural one, famous for legends of a mythical invisible city known as Biringan. Stories describe Biringan as a dazzling, ultra-modern metropolis, home to the engkanto, beautiful, supernatural beings. Biringan is believed to be a parallel dimension that sometimes becomes visible, especially to fishermen who report seeing a dazzling city of light that quickly vanishes. Some believe there are portals to Biringan scattered across Samar. It's easy to see how the legend of a glowing blue cave could be woven into the greater mythology of Biringan. Could the cave be one of these fabled portals? Is the blue light a bleed-through from the ethereal energy of the engkanto city? For those steeped in local folklore, this explanation is far more compelling than any talk of minerals or microbes. It connects the cave to a magical narrative that's already part of their cultural identity. Belief in engkantos and anitos, ancestral spirits, is deeply ingrained in the Philippines. These beings are seen as guardians of nature, of ancient trees, majestic mountains, and deep caves. To disrespect their domain is to invite misfortune. In this context, the blue light of the cave isn't an anomaly. It's a sacred fire marking the boundary between the human world and the spirit world. The story of the baffled scientists serves as a perfect cautionary tale. Human technology is powerless against the ancient magic of the land. So, we're left with a story. A story of a cave on Samar that gives off an otherworldly blue light. A story of local people who saw it as sacred. And a story of scientists who tried to explain it, only to leave in confusion, their results never seeing the light of day. As we've discovered, there's no credible record of this cave of the blue light, or the expedition that supposedly studied it. The Lungga sa Asulan Kahayag appears to be a work of modern folklore, born on the internet, blending real locations with fictional events. And yet, the story persists because it touches on our desire for the world to still hold profound mysteries. It pits the methodical approach of science against the ancient wisdom of folklore. On one hand, we have the tantalizing idea of an undiscovered form of luminescence. On the other, we have the rich world of Filipino mythology, with its engkanto spirits and the shining city of Biringan. The story of the glowing cave is a perfect thought experiment. It forces us to ask what we find more compelling, an unexplained scientific fact or a deeply rooted cultural belief. Whether the cave is real or a powerful piece of storytelling, it's a reminder that there are still dark corners on our maps, places where the line between the known and the unknown becomes beautifully, mysteriously blurred. The glow may not come from the rock itself, but from the story that surrounds it, a story that continues to shine brightly in our collective imagination. What do you think is the real source of this story? Is it a distorted account of a real phenomenon or a purely modern myth? Share your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the world's greatest mysteries.